A diverse board should look like your customer. It should look like the people who you're aiming your product at. It should look like the workforce. The workforce should look like your customer as well. If you don't, if you're all made up of people just like you might clearly be missing a trick in who could be your current next customer, and certainly could be your next big customer. If you're all white, male, middle class, and don't really see that the rest of the world is different from you, it's very easy for you to recruit more people like yourself because you've got many friends who are like you. But you're also going to be missing a trick of finding young people, for example, who might add a new social dimension to your business, to what your core proposition is, and question the values of your company in a different way that will give you a better result. It's not about fairness, it's about good business. There's obviously been a lot of talk about boardroom diversity, but it's been largely centred around gender, which is great, but a lot of the top FTSE female chief executives say we don't need to have quotas put on for us, we're going to win it on our own rights, and that's a debate that's never going to go away. But what could be done is worker diversity in your boards. I mean, are you getting the right decisions if you don't actually listen to the people who are on the floor, who may be the ones actually dealing with your customers? Quite often, a board won't be dealing with their customers on a day-to-day level because they'll be analysing things too much and not actually at the coalface. It's at the coalface where you make your money, and so you want that voice heard back in your board, and that's probably a much more compelling argument than ethnic or gender diversity, because that's what you need to hear. Well, the most important thing for a business leader to do in looking at the diversity of their board is to be open and honest, and just say, like, who are we? Look at us. Well, what are we saying about ourselves? If we take a picture of this group of people, are we projecting ourselves in the right light? Are we conducting ourselves? Every board wants a lawyer and a HR person and a finance person, but are we missing other customer experience people? Are we missing a new generation of people who talk a different language from everyone around the board? There's a chief executive of a big company I know, and she said, why don't we go on Facebook? And they all laughed at her. Now, all they do is go on Facebook, and then all they do is use Twitter. And if they'd learnt that message rather than laugh at her 5 years ago, they'd have been way up there. And so we learn from mistakes. Hopefully we do anyway, and boards need to catch up on that. The way in which business leaders can find the new members of their team is by recognising that they can't find them themselves because they're not within their social milieu, they're not the part of who they are. So the first thing you have to start by saying is, I can't find that person because I don't know them. And then you have to engage with people who do know them. So it's a difficult process of opening up to the honesty of, like, having a limited social address book, because that's also a limited commercial address book. You can buy an address book, you can engage with the right people who you know aren't within your usual confines of business. Once you understand it's young people you need, or you need people from the workforce, you go out and find that person on the workforce, or you find that youth champion, and you bring them in. And you have to say to them, quite honestly, I've been missing out on what you can bring me.